what I hear you saying now is something a little different, that the Democrats actually want to get away from the give and take of democracy. They want to create permanent structures. Let's just say, for example, the expertise comes from academia. The left controls the courts. The left controls the regulatory agencies. Now, none of these are directly accountable to the people. So instead of using the democratic process as a mechanism to establish tyranny, they're actually trying to get around it and subvert it.
Yeah, I discovered as I started to write this book that there was actually a large body of political theory on the right, going through guys like James Burnham and then Samuel Francis, discussing the managerial state and the way that it would take over the institutions of the United States. It warned that ultimately we always have a ruling class, and that ruling class always wants to stay in power. And so what the ruling class learns to do is manipulate the way that voters get information. They manipulate the way that they understand the world around them so that they can no longer create a check on power. And then they move the power of the Constitution, those formal branches of government, into those non-elected bureaucratic institutions, not just in the deep state, but into things like the university, into corporations, even into globalist NGOs that dictate down into the United States, what is supposed to be a sovereign country, how it will respond to things like COVID. And so over time, we see that they shift all these powers into these non-democratic institutions, but they continue to go through the ritual of democracy. So we still get elections, but those elections have fewer and fewer consequences. The whole time we're told that we have more democracy, we're defending democracy, but we're actually defending is an oligarchic structure that has distributed the power that is supposed to be inside of those formal constitutional articles instead into these different bureaucratic institutions.
I mean, I was struck when I read some of the writings of the early progressives. This is going back to the 1900s and the 19-teens. People like E.A. Ross or John Dewey, where they would say, well, yeah, we need to have these emerging bureaucracies. Now, granted, the bureaucracies have to be accountable to the people, but guess what? Who's going to be supplying the understanding and expertise to the people for the people to make up their minds? Well, it's the bureaucracies themselves.